What is up, guys? Welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to the ozfortress Heroes League TV tournament. We are currently in week four. Week four. Yes, it is still week 4. I got confused because it's the weekend. But in any case, my name is Pixie, and joining me tonight are RQT and Dreamboat, and we're going to be taking on Jam versus Tainted Minds. Guys, how do we feel about this matchup?
I'm excited for some Tainted Jam.
I don't need to know where you stick your jam, Dreamboat. RQT, what are your thoughts?
I actually haven't seen Tainted Mind at all this patch, so that'll be cool. Obviously, Jam played in Zowie on Thursday, but Tainted weren't there, so this should be interesting.
And actually, RQT, this is your first time joining us on a broadcast, so go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
I'm RQT. Yeah.
Nice.
That's it. I'm on the Untitled spreadsheet, if you didn't know. And
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
Yeah.
He actually plays this game.
yeah, RQT is the main Mercy player on the team currently topping the standings in not just this tournament, but just about every tournament in the region. Untitled spreadsheet looking really, really dominant, and actually still looking dominant. But we aren't here to look at Untitled spreadsheet and talk about them tonight. We are here to look at Tainted Minds versus Jam Gaming. And RQT, you said you haven't seen a whole lot of these teams, but in any case, as someone who plays this game at quite a high level, what are you kind of expecting tonight? We've had a few days now since the last patch went out. Teams have had a bit of time to adjust. What adaptations do you think these guys might have made already?
Well, as I said, Jam obviously have the advantage because they did play in a tournament setting this week. So I think look for them to be the ones who have adapted a bit more, maybe. Obviously, that you actually haven't scrimmed though at all this week, and I'm not sure if Tainted have. So it's actually it's Tainted's first time on this patch in a tournament, so I think there might be some experimenting still, but we'll see if they've adapted or not. They did in the last patch very well when McCree got nerfed.
I'm really hoping that we do get to see some experimenting, especially with Ana. Wow, that sounded worse.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything.
But you know what I mean. I hope that we get to see Ana.
Yes, and I absolutely agree with you there. Ana seems like quite a niche pick, and actually I believe we spoke to RQT earlier in the week, and he said exactly the same thing on our stream. So quite a niche pick, but tonight could be the night that niche pick actually comes out. And of course, since teams will have had a bit more time to practice and a bit more time to figure out where those niches are, I think maybe we'll see some of that getting brought out. But one of the notable things we did start seeing already on the day of the patch was already Lucio was dropped a few times in favor of Zenyatta. So, RQT, do you want to give us a bit more detail on why that's happening?
At least for us, Zenyatta is pretty strong at the moment, and the 200 health helps, and the ult's pretty strong, especially with the speed. I think it's just opened up a lot more flexibility with what supports you want to run, and we'll see from the international tournaments coming out this week how they feel about it. But for us personally, we think Zenyatta is pretty strong. And on defense, we were dropping the Mercy a lot of times, not the Lucio. But on attack, yeah, you can definitely drop that Lucio for the Zenyatta. I mean, the Mercy, sorry.
Interesting to see that just that one change alone has already started to shake up the support meta a little bit. And then, of course, there is the inclusion of Ana. We talked a little bit about that, so we won't go too much more into it. But what other significant changes have we already seen from this patch? Because we have seen heroes like Pharah kind of fall out of favor. So why is that? What's going on there?
Well, the Zenyatta and the McCree, basically, Pharah doesn't really stand a chance of living if you're going to play that aggressive in the air style. She's still viable, honestly, but I think teams aren't comfortable with playing against the McCree Zenyatta because you can get one shot.
Alrighty, it'll be interesting to see how these teams have adapted to the patch, and we are going to just go straight on into the first game. We are going to be on Numbani for the first map of the night, and if I am not mistaken, we are going to have Tainted Minds on attack first. I could be completely mistaken, so do correct me if I'm wrong, fellow casters. And Numbani, we got to see Numbani again played a little bit earlier in the week, and this was one of the maps that did have some of those adaptations, especially on defense. Do we think we're going to see some of those things again? The Zenyatta.
Looks like Tainted have already picked it up on God's World.
Does indeed.
Interesting. I like it. I like to see these teams kind of make the best out of these. I do see an Ana on.
Is that
it's gonna be swapped off.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that hovered and then not actually followed through on. But in any case, you know, tonight could be the night. Not so sure that Numbani, though, is quite the right map for her, but we are, definitely going to see that Zenyatta on defense and also Zenyatta on offense as well, so actually both teams opting to drop the Lucio. Interesting choice there.
Not on offense. That's changed again.
Oh, just the last minute. Going back onto that Lucio. And, I do think the Lucio is the right call there as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we do have mines on defense on the blue side there.
Yep.
It'd be that way. Doors still not quite open. This is always that nice slow time of the match. So, do we want to talk about this Hanzo pick a little bit here? That's a little bit different. And actually, we saw it falter earlier in the week in some of the other matches we've seen. So, what do we think the thought process is there for Channy?
I think he needs to be pretty careful because that lineup for Jam is very aggressive and has a lot of air mobility with the D.Va and Genji. So I reckon he needs to just sit back and play defensive. It can do a lot of work, especially against some of their heroes on Jam.
Oh, really nice flank here, actually, already coming up the hotel side. And I do like the D.Va as well. Oh, speed boost straight past. They're going to get right in behind Tainted Minds here. Nice move early by Jam Gaming. And D.Va up on the front line. There's going to be the defense matrix to go straight out. And it's just two Reinhardts on the walkway, and people trying to damage the shields. And Michello is trying to go in for the backline, looking for Elmo. Has not quite found him. There we go. Finally gets him down and has a Mercy in his own pocket. Now he's keeping Channy really, really busy. And it's a bit of a sloppy push for the offense, but they have got the key targets. If the remaining members can do enough work, they could have a pretty favorable fight here. Moonsha, though, is going to be able to do a ton of work, so Moonsha needs to go down. But Michello, he's just up on the balcony, out of the mech, but totally untouched, and takes out Moonsha. Nearly has that mech available as well. This is a really solid push. The defense is going to have plenty of time to get back to it, though.
Jumping Atar, going absolutely mental. He grabbed 5 of them there. That was absolutely crucial in that push. Atar going beast mode early here, and I'm looking to see if he can keep doing that here as we get set to move forward into the second point. He's grabbed so much positioning, but there will be start of the defense coming out here.
Dragon Blade as well available for Atar, which is going to give him a lot of opportunities to dive onto that backline. Again, like what Michello did in the last fight, look for Elmo first. And Channy already adapted, taken that Hanzo away, and has gone onto Soldier 76, but still relatively squishy up against a Dragon Blade. So I want to see Atar go off again here as the payload is just being moved. They're taking the slow and steady approach, not even going too all in to make space for themselves, just wanting to go nice and slow through the streets phase. RQT, talk us through what's going through these teams' minds here.
Jam are just getting the push through at the moment and not really getting stopped here. When it gets to this corner, look for them to contest.
And they do have a couple of ultimates available to contest. Moonsha going to be able to have it. But Atar, he's looking to go in already. Hasn't quite popped the Dragon Blade just yet. And there's a high noon. Not quite deflected in time. And D-Field, he drops Moonsha and gets dropped by Moonsha. But there goes the fight this time. Sorry, not Moonsha at all. Atar. Moonsha did also die before the Gravitron went out. Bit of a hectic fight. But the defense the offense does look to push through solidly.
My ultimate is charged.
Jam just jumped on them with really good execution and ultimates. The thing about that point as well is you lose that once and you're back in spawn, so they get the point for free, basically.
The other thing worth noting, too, is look at the ultimates up on the offense. There's a lot more up. The other ones are starting to come up on defense, and I was half hoping they'd go really aggressive to try and grab Elmo before, but now it's the Dragon Blade coming in, and it should grab Elmo.
He's looking for it. Oh, the deflect not quite in time, and that is a really nice Gravitron from the defending side, but it's not quite going to do enough work. The offense has started to fall over, but Dozer is still there with the raise. If he can get in position, no, goes down, trying to go in for the raise. Michello is really alone, just trying to do work there as Atar has come back up, still a long way away from that fight, and it's going to be a lot of nothing there as the defense holds shakily, but it's a hold nonetheless.
Hey, it's all about bending, not breaking. Am I right, RQT?
Yeah, well, both Mercies went down without getting their res off.
Yeah,
the
pretty
spawn point just
significant.
favored Tainted Minds there.
Yeah, pretty significant, and yes, we saw Dozer going into position there, just wasn't quite able to get in, so props to Noid or no ID. I think it's no ID, I believe. In any case, doing a great job of stopping up Dozer. And there goes the High Noon, the Deadeye out from Jimeb on the offense. He's looking for it, isn't quite able to find anyone. Really nice defense matrix from the defenders there. Funnily enough, Moonsha still keeping that one up, just trying to stop Jimeb, but he has gone out of the mech and is going to fall over. Moonsha down and out for the count, a nice transcendence from the defenders, and this isn't too all-in a fight. A lot of ultimates being blown, but neither team seems to have a particularly major upper hand. I don't think we're going to see much ground being gained here.
Well, there is still quite a bit of chaos going down here as Jimeb and Ada are taking out some people, but the good defense coming in here, and Moocher grabs Doza, so no res, and the Lucio's down as well. Channy grabbing 2 big picks there.
Yeah, and it was
stuff this push.
Yeah, a nice drawn-out fight there. No advantage being gained to the defense. Again, just with that home field advantage, if you will, being right by the spawn point, was eventually able to get the upper hand and kills. And the more minutes they buy here, the easier the offense is going to get for them, and potentially can even stop this push all the way.
Looks like this push is starting to come forward here.
Oh, there it goes.
Here comes the break it down. We've got the ults coming out here. The Dragon Blade. It will not grab anything here early. This is not looking good at all. And Noid actually picks off Jaimin. Michello will trade out a kill to make it a little bit better. And now Elmo on defense. The res coming in here quickly, trying to get anything. But this is still not ideal.
Yeah, Noid is the only one to go down to the defending side alongside Moonsha. They're looking for Chenny, and oh, there goes Elmo. That's the only healing available aside from God's World, who probably can't do enough work. He falls over as well. No idea has gone onto that Tracer, but Chenny and defielded down. Moonsha is up, and that's the payload secured.
Peels! The 3K at the end there, absolutely crucial. RQD, what did you see there?
Well, they just came in with the better ultimates, and maybe the fact that Dozer got caught out the fight before actually helped them, because he had his res for that fight, and Elmo actually swapped off Mercy because he used his, was on Zenyatta, and I think he just, you know, obviously couldn't do as much. They just came in, Jam were much better at pushing in and got the picks.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting change there. Like you said, last minute taking that Zenyatta. Obviously, they felt it was going to be useful, but not having the res potentially costed them. They obviously felt close enough to the spawn. They didn't really need the res like they had in a previous fight, but when Dozer didn't go down and was able to use the res, and then of course your team doesn't have a res available, well, it's no surprise that the fight goes one way almost. As harsh as that is to say, the time set is going to be 5 minutes and 24 seconds. That is the time for Tainted Minds to beat, and this is still a really good team. I'm interested to see how they take this offense now, especially knowing maybe a little bit of how Jam Gaming have adapted to this patch now. They might know what to expect a little bit more in terms of picks.
So, RQD, as the resident Mercy here, would you have gone with that Zenyatta swap? Would you have stayed on Mercy, or in that kind of desperation, would you have done something different yourself?
It's hard to say because he used his res the fight before, so his thought process was, I'm probably not going to get another res, so I'm going to swap to Zenyatta. Maybe I'll have a bigger impact. And it's hard to say, as I said, but I think the Zenyatta was a good decision.
All right, well, the gates are now open. Defenders still not quite completely locked in. Jimeb and Michello undecided in terms of what they're going to take. But the rest of the team, they're opting into their Zenyatta as well. Ref's going to be running that, pardon me. And Michello going back onto the Diva for the defending side. And it's looking like something fairly similar. Still to see what Jimeb is going to pick up there. Meanwhile, on the offending side, I'm guessing that Junkrat is going to be changed off, but Channy is going to be taking up that Genji, and we saw Atar do a lot of work on that last game, so I'm interested to see how he does this.
One thing I'm not
Jimib on Pharah
is, I was going to say, is Jimib on Pharah. I don't know if you caught the games a couple days ago on Thursday for me, so yeah, Thursday. But Pharah was getting absolutely stuffed by McCree since the update came. I'm not sure how I feel about that. RQT?
Well, D-Field especially can shoot heads with Zenyatta. Jimeb will definitely have to play defensive.
Yeah, actually, also interesting to note, Noid is going to be playing our first Ana of the night with Elmo taking up Zenyatta, so no Mercy or Lucio for that attacking side, and already a little bit stopped up in the hotel as a couple of blows are traded. Moonshot there going to be the first one to try and march through, just shooting across the balcony with that defense matrix up there. Without the Reinhardt there, they're really going to struggle to march across this bridge and get into position.
Hold
also,
on.
no speed boost from Lucio. They're just trying to slog it out.
I was gonna say, you said that there was no Lucio. There is. They're running.
Oh, there is. Wow. That's
They're
just
running
changed
Zen,
out.
Lucio, and Ana. For
This
the
is really
triple.
interesting. Oh, actually, here, this could be it. Actually, Ana now already has the speed boost available. They could be looking to go for a big run across the as Moonchi gets catapulted across and is just wreaking havoc in the backline. They can't even deal with it. Kettled the entire team.
Look at the point. Look how far forward the point's
Exactly,
gone.
has gone down, but he's kept everyone so busy. The attackers have lost a little bit of steam here. G-Map gets a really nice rocket barrage, and actually the Farah does pay off as that cleans up the rest of the members on the point. As well, it looked like a really tight hold there because Moochie just caused total chaos, but a really convincing hold.
I just want to give a giant shout out to Tainted for the fact that they're actually experimenting with, you know, their support methods here. Noid will be swapping off to Reinhardt though.
Yeah, well, their entire strategy there was to just take damage and wait for that Ana to build the ult and go in, and it just didn't have the impact they were expecting. So they've obviously swapped it to the more traditional 2 support.
And also, I like the Reinhardt shield. They're going for the same move again across the hotel bridge. I like the Reinhardt shield there to just give them a little bit more defensibility. They're actually going to be able to get across there, and now looking to go through and get onto the point as the rest of the team moves up around the backside of Jam Gaming. On the point now, High Noon, Deadeye to come out from the defenders. Not quite going to find anyone. The Reinhardt shield is too good, but that's a huge charge as both Reinhardts go down. Going to be a convincing hold again.
Atar grabbing 3 with a really good High Noon. This mech destruction will come in, but Michello will clean up his Diva counterpart as we had a mini Diva duel. And now that's really going to put the pressure on Tainted Minds here. They got 3 minutes to go all the way. They've burned a whole 2.5 off this push already, and they haven't grabbed point 1.
And Moonshot just wasted his ultimate there at the end. That was really questionable.
Maybe wanting to just make a bit of ground, catch, get a few picks, but of course on Numbani, that's not even super valuable just with how close the spawn point is to that point for the defense. And there haven't been any further adaptations here by the attacking team. So I'm really wondering how this is going to go as Moonshot goes in again, trying to just wreak havoc on the backline, but a nice transcendence is going to stop that one up as Moonshot is out of the mech. We've got Shani though trying to go deep in there with the Dragon Blade, finds Michello. That's a nice big one for him. Now he's looking for the Zenyatta, finds Refs. Finds Peels, Atar. Now he finds Refs, and now he's looking for the Mercy as well, doing a ton of work there on the backline. The attackers are looking a little bit worse for wear without Moonshot, but for the most part, they're doing really nicely. He's still got some ultimates available. Sound barrier to come out. D-Field unable to quite find a Deadeye, but he does find Michello and Peels, and that's going to be the attackers taking the point.
Oh, baby, a triple out of D-Field. They really opened things up initially, and then he kind of came through, and they grabbed a few more. Looks like he's going to be swapping off, though. He goes to Bastion for the card push.
They're gonna...
And Channy goes to McCree.
This is some standard Tainted Minds Numbani here.
Get down, Mr. President. D-Field Bastion standing behind a Reinhardt shield with God's World in the pocket. It is pretty counterable, though, so what did Jam Gaming need to do to counter it?
They need to just jump on it with the Diva, honestly. He's very weak against this Diva now.
And oh, there it goes, right on top. Peels does already fall over to Bastion, but there's going to be the Bastion going down. The
What a great Earth Shatter, though.
And that was just huge. Huge Earth Shatter from the defenders, but then able to not quite clean up, but at least keep their momentum going. They find refs on the back end of that fight as well. So actually going all in on the Bastion kind of had them tunneling away from looking at Noid's Reinhardt.
Yeah,
Doza went down right at the end to Moonsha.
They're going to get this point for free. There's no way they can come back.
Spawn point just a little bit too far away for that one. Very few ultimates available, though, for either team. Peels is going to have a lot of fun, though, if he's able to get a drop onto that payload. He can get a nice hammer down onto it.
That said, ults aside, they really have to move off this. They've got 40 seconds to cap. This is going to be a real tough task for them here, and they're just going to have to try and go in dry.
Yeah, possibly needed a little bit more mobility as well to make the space for themselves. Channy does have a Deadeye available, though, as we get the tense music going. Channy going to look for a Deadeye. He's going for the flank around the side, trying to get behind the team. Does not quite find anyone just yet. Looking for it. and gets completely blocked out by his friendly Moonsha, calling that mech. Chenny's gone down. That's one of the few ultimates they have. Gets raised. Godswell going to blow that one out already as he just barely goes down. It's going to be no advantage yet for either team, but there's so little
4
time
seconds,
left.
3 seconds.
It's not going to be able to happen here. There's just too much distance to be gained. Despite the best efforts of Channing to get a really great flank there, it's just not going to work out. And that is going to be the hold and the victory on this first map for Jam Gaming. Tainted Minds maybe just going to try and push it through for glory points here.
Damage increase.
You always got to go for glory. Am I right, RQT?
Is ready.
You do, that point does matter, so...
And while we've got a little bit of time, talk us through what happened there, RQT. What went wrong for Tainted Minds there?
They just... You probably want to cast this one, sorry.
Well, it's Genji. It's Atar. He's doing a lot of work.
Just clean
Pretty
them
cool.
up there with a
Yeah.
stun.
It's I'm looking forward to a janitor Genji skin actually, and he pulls out his broom when he gets his ultimate.
Well, yeah, they came up that push before, and the Zenyatta ult kind of kept them in it for a bit on Elmo. But ultimately, they just got outplayed, I think. There was a lot of small decisions from both teams, and Jam came out ahead with some individual play.
Dreamboat, what are your thoughts on this match? And what do we think we need to see out of Tainted Minds in the next one if they want to tie up the series?
I mean, I appreciated Tainted Minds going for kind of the like new meta, like trying to evolve the meta, I guess, with that opening push. It cost them the game though. Like they wasted so much time trying to get in, like basically they were trying to go for the big play to win it and lost it on the spot. I mean, again, I'd like to see them keep going for the experiment, but I don't think at this point it's something viable. I think it's something they need to practice a little bit more if they want to go for the big next level strats. Because clearly it didn't work.
Well, the thing to note is, sorry, that they had, obviously they played that second, and they were already under pressure with a pretty fast time from Jam, and the fact that they sat there building up that Ana, that does take time. So that's probably something they want to probably do when they're attacking first, or they get a good time. But when they've got 5 minutes, they really just need to go in and roll.
And next map is going to be Watchpoint Gibraltar, of course. So do we feel maybe there's actually some opportunities for that same strategy to be pulled out there on Watchpoint Gibraltar? Because I would certainly think that there are some areas where just going for that big speed boost get right up in your face, potentially at the end as well. If you get a good fight, being able to keep the enemy team kind of trapped in their spawn point is really, really huge. So maybe pushing them back to there to fight might be viable. Well, how do you feel about that, RQT? Do you think that's something?
With Ana, was it?
Yeah, the same Ana Lucio big speed boost kind of thing. Kind of thing, he says.
It's always an option, honestly, on attack now. Whether they want to try it again after them just getting shut down, I'm not sure. It was pretty weird how they did it. They used it on their Diva, but by the time he was on their team, a bit of it was already used because he had to fly across. So I think they put a bit too much in that push, and it did cost them. And Jam's defense was just really solid, and Dozer got a res off on the second attack, and they just were able to stall it out for a long time.
Interesting as well, I thought, was we actually saw Farah A getting picked and B pulling at least a little bit of weight. You know, it was mostly Atar who absolutely cleaned up. Sorry, not Atar. I believe it was D-Field actually who absolutely cleaned up that first fight. But it was the no, sorry, it was Atar. This is the very first fight. Yeah, got a really, really nice set of kills. But the Farah just kind of locked down the point at the back end of all that, made it so that the remaining members of Jam weren't going to be able to, sneak the point out from underneath anyone, or maybe pick off Atar and actually take advantage of the disarray that Moonsha had caused. So a bit of an interesting pick there. I wonder if they're going to pick it again, just because there's a little bit more verticality for non-flyers on Gibraltar. And we are going to be able to go into this map at any moment now. I believe we should be jumping in as soon as the teams have finished confirming. And
yeah, we are ready to go. We are going to be heading to Watchpoint Gibraltar. Are you ready, guys? Here we go.
Wow, all the way in Spain. It's so intense.
Yeah, there's like water and stuff.
It's actually quite cool. If you look out the edge of the map, you can see Morocco on the far side.
Wait,
I would, yeah, like because Gibraltar, because of where it is, it's like right between Spain and Morocco. So actually, if you look out across the water, you can see the topmost part of Africa.
That's
I don't know.
Really cool.
I don't know how accurate that is. To be honest, I've never been to Gibraltar. I would have imagined it's a little bit wider than that, but Noid has left the game. Not sure what's happened there. Hopefully just a slight connection issue and is going to be able to get back in as soon as possible because luckily they are on the attacking side, so they don't quite need to get into position to have another minute to get him back in.
I think he wanted to leave so that we can go back to lobby so he can yell at you for your map knowledge.
My map awareness.
Yeah, there we go. That's what. While we have some time, it's just back on that Numbani when Tainted Minds were on the attack. The second attack after they tried the Ana, Atar was able to just sit up the top on the balcony. He actually got 3 people with a Deadeye. That is incredibly hard to do now with the D.Va change. Michello was playing a bit too defensive. I think he should have jumped on him with that shield because that just cost them the fight. Atar got that triple and just spiraled out of control there.
Yeah, and to be honest, it really felt like on that first map, Jam just had Numbani a little bit more down pat. Also interesting to see the Protect the President come out from Tainted Minds. I mean, as much as you said that's kind of stock standard for them on Numbani, it's a notorious strategy and it's so incredibly counterable. Like, how many times really have we seen, people writing on forums going, my God, I can't kill Bastions when they're behind Reinhardt. And then people go, well, actually, it's kind of easy once you know how. And it is truly easy once you know how. Like, that's not even a strategy you see pulled out at amateur levels of play. So what's the thought process behind that? Did Tainted Minds perhaps know a higher level of the strategy?
I don't think so. I think D-Field's just really solid on it, and it has been one of their go-to strategies. But the fact that they lost him straight away, as I said, it's very easy to be aggressive against that. And the D.Va, especially now after the change, can really stop that Bastion from doing things. And he did. Like, he died straight away in that fight. I mean, Tainted still took that fight. But, the Bastion did die instantly.
I just want to back this up, Pixie. I don't know what you mean by this doesn't work at amateur. I mean, I think I'm pretty good at the game. And I last time I played, I freaking rolled. I mean, we're talking like rank 25, so I got to be pretty good at this game, right?
Oh, yeah. I think that's how it works, yeah.
Yeah,
I hear Reaver is only rank 26 himself.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe it's 76, I'm not sure. In any case, it looks like these teams are ready to get back into this game. Noid seems to have fixed whatever issue was causing that before. We have maybe a minute or so before we get back into it. So, coming back to Watchpoint Gibraltar, we actually did get a bit of a glimpse at what these teams are going to be bringing out, especially on the defense. And it looks a little bit more stock standard. But something I want to bring up has been the total absence of Reaper so far tonight. What do we think's going on there, guys?
Well, it's just a bit of Numbani in general. Both teams favored that high ground balcony defense, and Reaper can't really do that as well as some of the other heroes. Like the mobility of Genji and D.Va can just get up there straight away, and they look for that brawl. It could have been picked up towards those later points, though, for sure. And it's interesting they haven't. We still run it a fair bit, and on Gibraltar we do.
I imagine you're going to be dead right there. And for all we know, it could have been Noid was going to pull out that Reaper, of course. But so far, we hadn't seen it be picked.
Well, we did see Reaper be really impactful in the 2 games we did Thursday. Like, on this map, it came out and had some really, really great plays and great moments and really kind of broke a lot of the defense. So I'd expect to see it, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think, of course, one of the other things about Reaper is it kind of increases the necessity of having a Mercy, because if a Reaper does get in behind you and, takes out 3 of the people who are in good defensive positions, then you need to be able to bring them back up. Otherwise, you're just going to lose that fight and that point if you're the defenders. So I think we won't see any teams opting to drop the Mercy on this map. But, of course, I could be wrong. We could see no Reapers and we could see no Mercies. Or we could see no Reapers and still some Mercies.
On attack, see that Mercy might be dropped.
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
Well, I
think
guess
it's more
we'll
crucial
find
for the defenders,
out.
yeah. We are going to find out.
Because it's time for us to rewind, 5 minutes back to when we were actually entering the map, thinking we were going here. Because we are on our way to Watchpoint Gibraltar.
This time for real. Book your flights. Buy your sun hats and sunscreen because, guys, it's hot out there. I'm not a particularly big fan of Spain. Actually, no, that's Watchpoint Gibraltar, or Gibraltar itself, is a British exclave, I want to say. Enclave? Whichever one is geographically correct there. But in any case, it's owned by Britain.
Well, there's your answer already. Jimeb has decided to go for that repo, and I think it's much better than the Pharaoh for that first point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never mind, he's just swapped off it.
Okay, Moonshire also hovering over that Roadhog, who was, again, someone we didn't see much of. And, again, it's a bit of the nature of the beast for Numbani, but definitely liking it on this map. Godsworld on that Hanzo, I wonder if that's going to be kept, along with Noid on that Ana.
It is a strategy. I don't think that Hanzo is a troll pick or anything. We'll see. I think he'll come out and give it a shot.
Ha! Get it?
You will
No.
No.
Well, he'll give it a...
See, I make bad puns. I make bad puns and bad jokes. Like, all of them look like you're like stand-up comedy from like a professional compared to what that was. That was just, jeez, that hurt.
Hey, I saw an opportunity and I took it. Let's talk about this defensive setup because we are seeing refs taking that Zenyatta, and indeed we have Jimeb on that Reaper, so we are last seeing that happen, and of course Michello on that Roadhog as well. So this is looking a little bit more stock standard, and I kind of like Lucio being dropped. How do we feel about the attacking lineup going into this, though? Noid has just dropped off that Ana, by the way, picking up Reinhardt.
Yeah, it looks like they might have wanted to go for that Ana, but it might be a bit too slow. Look where this Roadhog is, though. He might get it. No, never mind, he's jumped down. They're just going to hold this server room, and let's see if Tainted can break it.
Now, in the games that both yourselves and your opponents earlier in the week, the Wood Kicks, both defenders went for sort of a pincer move after this first point was captured. So do we think we're going to see a similar thing here? Because it certainly doesn't look like they're in position for that.
Well, the thing is, 3 are still down on the ground for Tainted, so we'll see. I'm not too sure how Jam are going to handle this.
Yeah, and actually, this looks like just a really solid push up the middle. Jam don't seem to be ready to fight. They're wanting to go for it now as Noid goes charging in. It's a really nice hook onto D-Field, goes down at the top of the fight. Michello just barely hitting through the damage, but now he does at last go down. And Jimeb is doing a lot of work in the server room. Channy not quite able to find the defending team's mercy, and Jimeb just sort of cleans up anyone who goes in too deep, finds Moonshire as well. The payload has been moving this whole time, though. The thing with fighting in the server room is that is not in the path of the payload. They do just barely get the attacking team off it, though.
Atar with a crucial 2K there too. This kind of be a real impact in this defense here. If he didn't get those, this could have been really bad.
This one's going to be totally on Dozer. Channy's going to come in with this Genji ultimate, and Dozer's going to have to be able to pick his team up.
And we're going to have to see how Dozer chooses to position himself as well. So far, doing a good job of just keeping around corners and staying relatively safe. Channy already looking to get into position.
It looks like he's coming in from this up top area. He's throwing a little bit of spam in. He has not dropped yet. Looks he's baiting it. He wants to come in here, but the opener actually
the rest of the team has managed to get in behind now, and he goes straight in. Atar is caught, but the Dragon Blade gets popped out as Peels knocks down the Genji. That's not going to happen. That is a really nice Death Blossom, though. Not going to be able to find too much, unfortunately, but it has brought a lot of ground for this defending side, and now it's just going to be a case of picking off the remaining members. D-Field's a little bit too deep, and Elmo throwing out a Transcendence with no one there, and Rez coming out for the defending side.
I think that Rez was also a bit questionable.
I think maybe they just didn't want to walk all the way back. Unfortunately, it didn't catch D-Field, but there is still a lot available for the defending side here. Still going to hammer down a whole hog and a Deadeye.
Dozer is building that ult again pretty quick, so...
Another Genji's actually up here in behind. That's Channy. Causing a nuisance, which, I mean, really is one of the best things you can be doing as Genji at times. Just be a distraction. And he's hoping he can maybe find something to open up this push. They're positioned pretty well away from him, though.
Yeah, it was a really nice setup, actually, that last fight with the team going in behind the server room and Channy ready to dive on top of it, just going for a real solid pincer. But unfortunately, a few key members got picked up right at the top and they weren't able to fight it. They're looking for a similar thing again in the server room as the main squad goes in. Channy is already looking to find Dozer hasn't quite found him, gets stunned up, just barely deflects off. And he finally goes down at the top of the fight, but meanwhile in the front, Peels and Michello have had to be raised now, and there's a really nice sound barrier from the attackers. Bit of chaos though, no team quite having the upper hand. The hammer is being swung by Peels, but he finally goes down, and now the attackers look to finally have it secured. D-Field does fall over in that though. The Transcendence is going to keep the rest of the team solidly topped off. The defenders are taking the long walk back, but they might even be able to get here in time. G-Mab is nearly back at the fight. Atar, he's going to have a Deadeye available soon, and he's finally going to drop to Channy. Threading the needle there. Channy falls down himself. Nice hammer down, catches about 3 members there, but only with a kill secured on 1. Really long drawn out fight here. Wow. It's still going.
That self-destruct didn't actually grab anyone, which surprises me. Here comes the high noon, and it's not going to find anything either. Like, these are just ults that are just accomplishing nothing. And this fight's still going on. Our Atar picks up B-Field. He will go down here, but Jimab with the Death Blossom grabbing 3 will finally end this fight.
Huge hold from Jam. D-Field was actually just had the high ground that entire time and was being able to get a few pickoffs. But it's surprising they were still able to hold that on Jam. It was all interesting that Elmo ultimate and the Dozer ultimates, they both waited until they had them again before they were committing to another fight, so neither really wasted it in the end.
And I sort of talked about that pincer move that Jam set up. Jam set up for that first one. Tainted Minds even. Who even are these teams? Set up again for that second attack there. And it looks a lot better, actually. We had Channy getting on top of Dozer, but the defense was there, really prioritizing keeping that Mercy alive. Elmo a little bit caught away from the rest of his team there. Is still able to stay alive, and the Transcendence comes out. And actually, this is a lot of deaths now for the attackers. Dozer goes in for a huge res, though, and just barely going to save that fight. Peels needs to get a big hammer down. He does! He finds 3, but gets caught in the enemy team's hammer down. Noise throwing that one out at the same time, so no kills picked up for either teams off those Reinhardt ultimates. And now it's just 2 of them swinging the hammers on top of the payload as the attacking team is still unable to find this big foothold here. Moonshine now doing what work he can. The backline finds Peels and finishing off that kill. It's still really, really sloppy, but this time it does look like they're going to be able to pull through. G-Mab on that Tracer just to try and get back to the fight, but Atar is the only other one left alive, and they're just not anywhere.
Took so much time off Tainted just then. A lot of them did get the far respawn, so Tainted should look to go aggressive here and get this hanger positioning before Jam can.
They've got the ultimates to do it as well. Moonshine could just go right in there with that nuke, and it looks like that's what he wants to do. Already going to go up into the balcony, throws out the defense matrix. He's up in the top by the ship, and Channy actually on the backline. He's right up top, throwing it out. Finds Dodge at the top of the fight, refs as well, and it's only 2, but that's 2 crucial members as G-Mab has also fallen over. Taking away Dreamboat. This is so chaotic.
Absolutely, chaos is real, and they're putting a lot of pressure in this top left area. Peels and Michello are doing everything they can to hold it, but it's the D.Va charging right in here, is actually going to cut Michello off. I think he might have actually overextended. There goes the suit, and he could be in a lot of trouble. That's Moonshine going down.
Does go down, but creates so much space. They're nearly on the point here. Here comes a High Noon out for the defending side, but everyone looks to be behind Noid's shield, and they are. And in fact, that High Noon goes down. Atar gets picked off. Gil's already down as well. Refs, if Dozer dies, he dies. That's it. He's gone, and there's going to be no res for the defending side
Good
here.
CC
This
there
is
on
going to
that
be ground
top
made again, and another point capped back to back. You
that
call it
hanger is so
RQT.
snowbally as well. Yeah, they took the one fight and they're already lost the point.
And D-Field actually already finding Atar, looking to make that same space again with a Deadeye available. Might just throw it out here just to try and keep the enemy team as kettled as possible by some time. This is really great offense now that that first point has been broken.
Well, now they're trying to get, like, they're moving forward here, trying to take some more space. There is some good pressure coming in from the defense, but they're slowly being pressured away here as this cart's moving around the corner.
Jam are gonna go
and they'll get this shield.
Oh, that's a
the aggression.
really nice Really, really nice flashbang there to stop up the tank fields down. And there's a really big high noon. There's no Reinhardt shield available to keep everyone defended, but zones off the enemy team. Unfortunately, not quite finding anyone for it, but they have split everyone up as the defending D.Va is forced to rocket away. Michello forced out at that one. The attackers are making a lot of space for themselves here. Moonshine nearly having that nuke available, sitting on the backside. Probably going to throw it out before long. Fields has come back up, goes charging in on top of Moonshine, but Moonshine doesn't quite fall. Finally gets taken out of the mech. D-Field as well going down. That's a really nice Iris out from the attacking side. Moonshine back in the mech now. He's just unkillable. The defenders are finding a few picks, but they're just not quite getting the key members. It looks like, though, this time the attackers are going to back up a little bit, maybe lick their wounds. And this is going to be a successful hold for now.
Although the repush is starting to come forward here. Noid is grabbing some good positioning here as Reinhardt just zoning his team. And the Chardish actually gets caught on the cart. Kind of a crucial play out of Peels, and he just got unlucky. The hammer down comes in and grabs one in the charge. Will pick off the Lucio. Moonshaw and Channy will grab Magello and Gemma. The revive is coming in, but it's not. It may not be enough here as the picks keep coming in. Gemma goes down once again. This time to D-Field, and the health is so bad on the defenders.
Peels finds a nice hammer down, is able to catch Moonsha, but unable to follow it up again. Misses the charge completely, and the defending team is actually really. The attacking team is really split up by comparison. Elmo getting picked off there by Peels at long last, and that's again going to be a
also going to be
hold.
costly. They died so late just then. They're going to have to wait for those respawns.
That was a
Also,
really
Red's completely shut down Tainted's push.
Yeah, and Dawson already has it again as well, was able to raise and stay alive for the rest of the fight. We often see Mercies blow the raise, and it's good, and it's big, but then they die straight afterwards, and most teams call that a happy trade, or a trade they're willing to make, but actually not dying there has really bought them a lot of crucial time, I think, in this next fight.
Yeah, fight though, like, it's so almost... Like, they can't grab the ground they need. Channy finally opening things up, and there is the Discord Orb on the Mercy, but the crucial break it down is going to keep Doza alive for now, and the frags are just going all in the favor of the defense.
Channy, they were barely holding on.
They really wanted that Doza kill, and they got punished for it.
Yeah, they went so really relying on that Doza pick, and it just, like, the combination of the break it down and the Discord Orb just not doing enough help for...
Look at the ults Jam still have here.
Yeah, they got
really tough for Tainted, both time-wise and ultimates.
So much available, and like you said, they went so deep onto Doza. Peels was able to keep so many members of the attacking team zoned, and then didn't even go down, got as low as 30 health. But here comes the next push. What's going to happen? Dreamboat walk us through it.
Well, the suit grabs two of them. And that's a crucial opener here, and these guys are all in behind. The revive will come crucially out of Doja, though, and that's going to be enough to really work this defense. The Transcendence is in. They haven't grabbed anybody with it yet, and this might be enough for the hold. It's hard to say, though. Look at how far back Elmo is, but he's getting kills, and he's now got Channy with him. This could be the opener they need.
The attacking team just needs to get even further back to keep the enemy team kettled in the base, looking for the Diva, now able to knock that one down. Marcello falls, and there's still enough resources in the attacking side. Channy does go down with that Death Blossom still available, a little bit unfortunate. Noid needs to pop that shield out, less that High Noon. Absolutely. Sorry, that was the friendly High Noon, but the defending team's High Noon is going to be out in just a moment. Really nice shield against GMM's Death Blossom. The attackers still seem to have the momentum, but no, Peels goes in, deals with Noid, who seems to be carrying the team on his back there. If Channy is able to get into position in time, they could get something, but no. The overtime is not there. And Jam Gaming holds for the entirety of Watchpoint Gibraltar.
That was a really surprising defense at the end there. That Diva ulti came out and it got a lot, and Doza didn't get a good res there because they died so spread out. He got 2 up, but they were still able to hold that with really solid play.
And here again, play of the game is going to be Doza getting a massive res, all 5 friendlies, and doesn't even go down himself at the end of it.
Yeah,
Doza played so well.
Absolutely. Really, really crucial to their defense. A number of times those reses just crush Tainted. And obviously with the Tainted lineup, you know, you don't have that Mercy, so any res is a win.
And of course, I brought up a little bit earlier after one of those fights, of course, Mercy now, because of the changes, takes a bit longer to charge up that ultimate. So getting the res off and then not dying is actually really significant because, like we saw a couple of times there, Doza still had the res by the time the next fight broke out.
Especially with the change.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot more crucial, I think. Maybe teams won't be quite so willing to make that trade-off of, well, Mercy's life to res the rest of us. So I liked how Doza played, basically.
No, that really is how it is. Obviously, Mercy has a bit more survivability now when you come in with that res, but if you die there, your res is going to be at 0 for a long time, and that 30% does kind of make a difference on the defense. So,
and
yeah,
speaking,
it's really crucial to live.
Speaking of on the defense, we're already seeing Elmo opting into that on the defense, and Doza looking to keep on it on the offense. Probably a good call. And aside from that, pretty stock standard for both of these teams. No Reaper just yet for the attacking side, though.
Well, Jam look like they're opting to keep that Mercy on attack, which is interesting. We'll see how it pays off for them. I think they're just going to look to try and just steamroll them through this.
And we do appear to have, unfortunately, lost one of our casters, but that is totally fine. I'm damn certain RQT and I are going to be able to do a perfectly good job of this. Moonsha opting to go in for that Roadhog, and we aren't seeing that one coming out of the attacking team. This is looking like a really standard defense, and I expect them to try and hold in that server room. Jam Gaming just looked to be a little bit more on the ball tonight, so what are we expecting to see out of them on this first offensive push?
Look, I think they're just going to try and get into that server room if Tainted opt to hold it. Looks like they're spreading out now. They don't feel comfortable holding that server room. So I think this actually favors the Genji a lot more with his mobility. We'll see how it plays out.
We absolutely will. And maybe this is actually a bit of an adaptation. They know how many people they're trying to hold in the server room. I do like the positioning of Channy, though, as Marcello up top, just going to scout out the enemy team as best as he can, let that defense matrix start up. First point, as always, is going to be seeded here. Both teams just poking it off for now.
Yeah,
Marcello
look at Jimmo up the top here.
Yeah, Marcello
contested.
Continuing to come around the side here. Channy has found him, and as has Moonsha, so Marcello not quite going to be able to find it. Oh, the hook onto the Zenyatta. He does not live. Refs falls over at the top of this one. It's not even a fight, really. It's just both teams skirmishing a little bit as the attackers are going to have to back away. They're unable to really get into position here.
Just keep an eye on Jimmo up here. They have nothing to deal with him up on top of this building up here, so he can really do a lot of damage up here.
Yeah, and already with that left click, just doing a lot of work in keeping Elmo and Godsworld zoned off. Godsworld, though, can still do a lot of work from range, and Jimib does take a nasty, nasty chunk from D-Field. And I think it's going to be a bit of a battle of the high noons. D-Field is going to have his one first, but if a pick can be found for the attacking side, Peels has gone down already for them, so they're probably not going to be able to find a fight now. And actually, the defending team moving forward a little bit up onto those ramparts just to try and keep the attackers kettled a little bit.
Yeah, they're just getting these picks off on Jam, and Jam just have to wait for the respawn before they can go in. They are building ults, though. They have 3, and look for them to be aggressive here.
Yeah, the Dragon Blade available.
For Jam is that they also have 9 minutes to move. So it's not the end of the world that they're having a little bit of issue right now. Tainted Mind's time is very long, so they've got a little bit of time to play with.
It looks like they want it as well. They're going to get in behind, and Jimeb already going to start channeling out the Deadeye. Doesn't quite find anyone. D-Field probably going to throw his out in a moment. He's got a much nicer position. Godsworld did actually go down to the top of that, which is a little bit unfortunate. No transcendence to be available, and no big flashy plays coming out just yet. It's really just a lot of skirmishing as the payload moves further and further forward. A nice hammer down to come out there. Does not quite find too much, though, with the follow-up. Noid and Jimib have gone down. Marcello as well. He's going to respawn with a long walk back. Dozer falls down just after the res goes out. Now Atar's going huge. D-Field Lucha Jenny. He finds a whole bunch, and the res come up, so he's going to go kill them all again. Pulls out the Dragon Blade. Now he's on top of the Zenyatta. Godsworld fall down to the backline. Finds Elmo as well, and he's just doing so much work, carrying the team on his small robotic back before he finally gets hooked in by Moonsha.
This is an interesting 2 vs 2 here. People
quite going to find anything. Channy's the
like
only one alive, and he's just barely going to be able to hold it. For all the work Atar did, they weren't quite able to find it all, but my god did Atar do work. That is something that Tainted Minds are going to have to give a lot more respect in this next fight, because that payload gained so much ground from Atar alone when he already had 2 teammates dead.
One thing worth noting here is look at this little cheeky position from Channy. We'll see if they know that he's there. That could be an absolute... Oh, it looks like he might have been spotted.
I think he was, yeah. Atar, at the very least, has now definitely seen him. He's still going to try and keep this position, actually. Wants to put a bit onto Marcello before Marcello drops into the fight. But D-Field actually really low at the top of this one. Transcendent's going to top him off, but that's kind of blown before the fight is really blown out properly. The charge to come in, but Peels goes down, a little bit unfortunate. Jimeb, though, finds a nice big high noon coming down into the defending team. Moonsha falling over as a part of that one. The mech is going to be called back, and now for the attacking side. Channy finally gets picked out. No Death Blossom to come out. Elmo falls over. D-Field's long way away from this fight, and that's definitely going to be a cap on that point. Now, how quickly can they push it through the hangar? Because a lot of the team members there come to close spawn. Yeah.
They really need to punish D-Field, which they do.
Ooh, nice one by Atar.
For Tainted.
Now looking to find Moonsha as well with that Discord order on him. Finds Moonsha. There's just no way a Roadhog can really heal through that one. Atar making so much space.
The nice thing to see here is Jam is now punishing these mistakes from Tainted, like that little bit of out of positioning there, and really Atar is just doing all kinds of work. He's now up and behind her, and if he can grab anyone else, this is going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah, they just don't have anyone who can even get above that ship to try and deal with him. They've got no aerial mobility, and there's so many ultimates available actually from both sides. Dozer being down, though, I think is going to stop this push from happening. Jimab, actually, if he goes down, then that's going to cause them to wait a lot longer for this fight. Peels as well in a little bit of trouble with his health bar, and the defenders just don't seem to be taking as much damage as the attackers, actually. If they can get one more pick, then they can stall out this fight again. Michello forced out of the mech. That could be just enough. No, Chenny does go down the top of the fight. This could be a little bit dangerous. This is a window for the attackers now. Okay. Res to come out from Elmo. Obviously feeling that those few members that were down were crucial enough. And this is going to be Atar again looking to go in as the High Noon gets channeled. But Gmev doesn't find it. He goes down to the middle. But Elmo, D-Field fall down to the back line. And that's already, of course, the Res gone out of the picture. A nice hammer down, followed by Atar just doing some work. The Transcendence healing as well from the attacking team. And they're just churning through the defender. It's just Peels. Sorry, Noid, he goes down. Peels doing so much work with that hammer is what I was trying to say there. Now D-Field and Elmo, long way away from this fight, and this is the next point captured. How much space can Atar make, though?
Well, the thing is, Elmo had to res early there. Both their core DPS went down, but unfortunately, they were still out of position after the res, so Atar was able to get kills still.
Oh, gets hooked in. If they can kill him, this could be big because he's got a Dragon Blade already. They don't quite find him, and he's just keeping everyone busy this entire time while the payload gets moved further and further forward. Atar doing so much work.
Jimmy kind of blew his ult there a bit early. I think they just need to capitalize on pushing this payload and fight at the corner.
Make a little bit more use out of the space Atar gained for them. Has now lost a lot of that space, and yeah, this is definitely going to be a fight around the corner here.
Tainted are being really hesitant. I think they just need to push a bit.
I think one of the problems is Atar does have a Discord orb on him. Now that he doesn't have it, he should be able to get a little bit more space here. Michello's going to drop that Diva, and Peels is down as well, so this is a really precarious position, and Michello's caught. He's going to go down, actually, to the Mercy.
No one expects the Mercy side on, but that is a raise now out from the attacking side. There's still one available on Elmo, but there hasn't quite been a good moment for it. There comes the aimbot now out of the defender's channel, looking to find as many as possible. He's up on the balcony behind them, and they haven't noticed it. The Transcendence keeps everyone alive through it. They had not noticed that Soldier 76 up there and nearly got punished, though Jimeb does find him at the back of that fight with Flashbang. D-Field is well down, having not used that Deadeye. And Godsworld is trying to do as much work as possible. Here comes the High Noon out from Jimeb, though. Isn't quite able to find anyone. Just a little bit caught behind the pillar, and the Reinhardt shield was blocking up, but Noid has gone down now. The nerf this to come out as well from the attackers. And there is the res. At long last, Elmo pulls it out. Godsworld does not quite get caught in that one, but D-Field does, and he's doing so much work. Finally falls over. Moonsha not quite able to do enough with that whole hog, and the attackers are still making a lot of ground, but it does look like the defenders are holding for now. They've got enough time.
Look at Atar. He's going to pick off Elmo.
Oh, he is going for it this time. This time the Deadeye as well comes out from Jimeb.
This has to be it.
That's got to be it for
I don't
sure.
think he can. I don't think Moonsha can do anything here to delay long enough. He's in so much trouble, and the cap goes down.
And that was just really classic finishing off. You get one good fight, and then you go right up to the base gates. You sit there, you wait for people to come out, and you just, even if you can't kill them, you keep them busy enough that they can't get onto the point to even contest. That was a huge, huge raise by Elmo right at the end there, but unfortunately it just was not enough. Actually, play of the game is going to be the raise from earlier. But it was nice to see Doz's play there as well. Got some really solid raises down, and well, there's a lot more I feel I could say, but RQT, why don't you say a few things about it? You probably know a bit more than I do.
I think Jam were really solid on attack, but I think Tainted really gave them way too much credit. Like, they got pickoffs a number of times on Jam while they were attacking. They decided to hold where they were instead of pushing forward. I think that really cost them. I think they should have taken the aggression when they got the picks they did. But unfortunately, they didn't, and Jam were able to just keep pushing that payload. Like at the end on point 3, they picked Jimeb off after he wasted his ult, and they just sat there and let them keep pushing the payload.
Really
both teams played really well, though. I think Jam obviously coming out superior with some really solid individual play by like Atar, Jimeb, and Dozer as well with those huge reses, just keeping Jam alive.
And certainly as well on the first map, Numbani there, Jam just looked they definitely look to be the better team. Gibraltar did come a little bit closer, and it was nearly the cap for Tainted Minds as well in that first round through with it. But of course, Jam Gaming, well, they won both. And I want to kind of go back to a bit of an older thing, and we are going to be getting some of the players in here for an interview, and I'll bring this up with them as well. But the strategy that Tainted Minds pulled out on Numbani, we didn't see them pull it out again. So,
Yeah,
IQT, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it just doesn't suit Gibraltar, or do you think they went, you know what, this just isn't going to work, let's not bother with it again?
I think it's fine on Gibraltar, honestly. They just opted not to do it. Which is interesting because they were on attack first, right? So they could make the time instead of playing against it that time.
Yeah, and we are going to be joined. Hello. We are going to be joined by Jimeb and God's Worlds both. So one from each team. And while we have you here, we'll bring it up with you guys. So on the first push that Tainted Minds pulled out on Numbani, we saw a very interesting strategy with that Ana and Diva and of course Lucio. So what was the thought process there? What was the plan?
We kind of wanted to catch Jam a little bit off guard because we know they didn't expect us to play an Ana. We, however, didn't expect them to get the fire ult as quick as they did. So that kind of shut us down. And yeah, that was pretty much it. We just wanted to get the Diva in across and take them out without them realizing what was going to happen.
And part two of this question is, after it didn't work out, you guys did make the adaptation, but we also noticed you opted to not pull out that strategy at all for the remainder of the match, not even on Gibraltar. So were you guys just not willing to risk it twice, or do you feel that it's just not a good strategy for Gibraltar at all?
It's not bad for Gibraltar because Ana can stay really far back. It's just, yeah, we didn't really want to risk it again because I feel like risking it on the first one kind of lost us that first minute or whatever.
Yeah, my thoughts were the fact that you ran it after Jam got that really solid timing was the questionable bit. I think the fact that you were attacking first on Gibraltar, you definitely could have maybe done it, and you were setting the time. But,
yeah, it was really just because I don't think they would have expected it, I'm sure.
Honestly, our thought process was, okay, so if Tainted run that one strat with the offensive Bastion, what will we do? And we said to ourselves, we'll probably just let them do it, but this time we'll just not let them shoot the Reinhardt shield. And when they actually came out with the Diva poking, we instantly knew, like, we didn't even need to see the Ana, but like he was just like poking in out, and we're just like, okay, so he's getting ult. So we were actually prepared for like the Ana ult to come in. But yeah, I got ult really quick on the Pharah, to be honest. I didn't. It just worked out quite well, kind of shut down that push.
Yeah, interesting that you guys picked up on that. And of course, I'm assuming that your name is Jimeb, but I could have been saying it wrong all night. But of course, you guys, Jam Gaming, you guys won tonight. You won on both maps. So what do you feel went right for you?
I feel like we were probably just a little bit more prepared, if as loosely as I say that, because we haven't had a lot of scrim practice in this recent patch due to, I don't know, just not being able to play. And I don't know, between Tainted and us, it's probably going to be pretty even. It'll be really interesting with Chapel's back next week. Probably be a bit more worried. Yeah.
Cool stuff. And of course, on the flip side of that, God's World, what do you feel didn't work out, and what are you guys maybe taking away from tonight?
Honestly, we're just kind of cruising until we get everything back in order for now, because yeah, Chapos has been gone for a month, and that's no excuse or anything. But yeah, we're not really taking anything into big consideration. We're not overthinking things. We've lost our in-game leader for a full month. We're kind of just playing, and still obviously trying to win. But yeah, we're realizing that we are a big man down, and yeah,
well, that
does have an impact.
Have you been able to scrim at all with the patch?
This last week, at least, no.
Yeah.
Defield, Channy, Elmo, actually pretty much everybody except for me was in WA, and Chapos obviously was in Europe.
Yeah, well, that was like the thing I touched on at the start. Both Jam and you weren't really able to scrim this week, so I thought it'd be interesting. But obviously Jam did have the Zowie League and had some time to reflect.
Able to squeeze in a little bit of time there, and I want to bring up another one for you guys, Jam Gaming. We've seen a lot of teams dropping the Mercy when they are on attack, but you guys actually opt to keep it on the last attack there on Gibraltar. So what was the thought process there? Did you just feel it was working? You know, why change it?
There's a lot of thoughts. So like the first one is, what are we comfortable with? Are we willing to like use no Mercy yet when we've got Doz, who's always been such a good Mercy player? he has a huge pool of characters that he can play if we put him on it. I know he would do it well, but we just haven't practiced it. A lot of teams opt for like the Zenny Lucio, and like they go for like the kind of tempo comp that Tainted were playing, but we feel like we play more of like a slower control kind of comp that really can play into the Mercy hand a lot more, and you can see it a lot on Gibraltar where, on Numbani where there was no Mercy and you just get a pick we'd get a pick against Tainted and it's instantly a 5v6, so I don't know. It's all about getting what you can get the most value out of, and we just felt we'd get the most out of Mercy res, like that security there.
Definitely had some huge reses on that Gibraltar.
Yeah,
Kept you in
really
a number
did.
of times.
He's good at hiding, but yeah, I don't know. I'd say to a lot of I'd say to a lot of teams right now, don't just like drop the Mercy just because the Zenny is an option there. Like it's still really good. Like if you can play around it, that's all it's about.
Cool, sound advice. And I want to ask you guys both a question that we've asked a lot of the people who brought in for interviews this week. Because, of course, this patch has brought in a lot of changes. And the first thing I kind of want to ask about is that Anna, because we did actually get to see it tonight. We know that it's a little bit niche, but where do both your teams feel Anna fits right now?
On attack. I think you should. I say on attack, maybe for first or second point, get
Agreed.
tempo with the ulti, because you guys, I think, and like as you might see on the stream, you can get ulti so quick as Anna. Like it literally, you waste 30 seconds maybe, but if you can get value out of ulting, say your Genji or I don't know, your Monkey or Diva or something, and go in, like it's such big value. Like no one else would really. The only reason on Pharah I had ult there is because I think I spammed. I think Dion just took too many hits. So,
Yeah,
Anna's good.
Well, that's the thing. The strategy was there for Tainted, but the execution was just a little behind.
We knew it was coming. We just thought it'd be on the Genji.
Yeah, I was a bit confused with the Diva as well, but because half of it was gone by the time he even got over. He had to fly over there with shield up.
Yeah.
And of course, the other thing I kind of want to bring up is that Pharah, because we did actually see it, and Pharah seems to have just dropped right off because of the McCree changes. But you guys opted to pull that one out on defense on Numbani. So again, what's the thought process there, given that McCree was picked up?
It makes me sad that Pharah drops out. I preferred the previous meta to this one. If I don't know, if I had it my way, McCree nerf reverted, and then like Zenny alone makes Pharah less of a threat. And I picked Pharah because I had no idea what to play, and I thought a little bit of spam is still good. Pharah's not bad. You just can't be as aggressive as you used to be. You used to be Pharah going over the top. Pharah's just going ham, getting in people's faces, but you can't do that with McCree and Discord and Amped McCree for that. So you kind of have to play a more passive style, use it spam chokes, kind of like Junkrat, and then you have your ult as an option. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
So
the fact that you didn't get picked off was solid. I said at the start that you can still run the Pharah, but as you said, you do have to be that defensive. You can't just be all out aggression anymore.
You
but it
actually
really
spend more
paid
time
out
in the
for you.
game.
That ult really did help you keep that point, and then Atar's triple kill.
Yeah. Oh man,
Just
Atar went
massive.
off on attack on Numbani.
Well, I think Atar went off everywhere. It
Yeah.
certainly looked like it felt like every time a fight broke out, one of us was going, and Atar gets a triple kill, doing a lot of work for you guys, and making a lot of space for the rest of you guys to be moving the payload up, which kind of ties into my next question. Is that something you guys actually actively play towards? Like, yeah, Atar tends to be good at making space for us, so we can play that more, because you mentioned you like to play quite a slow and steady way when you've got that payload.
I don't know if it's more so that he's going to create space for us. It just kind of depends on what character he's playing. If he's on the Genji, and this goes for any team, it's not just about Atar that plays Genji, like say Yuki or Channy's playing the Genji. Like, you know, the Genji is only really useful against good teams inside ult. And when you have that ult, that is how you play around it. So we know when Atar's got ult, we're going to commit a lot to it and allow him to, like, give him the space, give him the freedom to actually do his thing and slash people. And he got many kills. That's just how it works. And we don't play around it that much, to be honest. We all respect each other enough to like do our own thing and just trust that we can do our jobs.
I was just really surprised as well how with the patch, obviously McCree's really strong, but so is Diva, and the fact that Atar was able to get that triple kill on the Numbani defense was really surprising. I think the Diva on Tainted needed to be a bit more aggressive and shut that down. It is really hard to get any form of like McCree ult, as obviously Jim, you know as well because you've been playing it.
Yeah,
that Diva is just so powerful.
so annoying. Yeah.
Well, in any case, great matches tonight, and Congratulations to the both of you, though, of course, an extra special congratulations for Jam Gaming taking out the win. Really close matches, and sounds like you guys both have some stuff you're gonna maybe look at between your matches tonight and your matches next week. And we are, of course, very excited to see those matches next week. Thank you so much for joining us, guys, for these interviews, and we are going to be taking it off for the night. Just so everybody tuning in knows, of course, you can follow us, ozfortress, on Twitter, at ozfortress. YouTube is going to be Heroes League TV. You can find our VODs there, and, of course, the website, heroesleague.org. It's going to have even more information about the tournament. And speaking of VODs, the round 3 videos, the roundup videos from week 3 are going to be going up overnight. And on Monday, we will have the week 4 roundup video going up. And VODs tend to go up by the morning. Might be a little bit of a delay given that it is a Saturday night. And we will be seeing you again early next week, probably around Monday. And thank you very much for joining us, guys. I have been Pixie, and of course, joining me tonight have been Dreamboat and RQT. Thank you very much for tuning in. And that is from all of us here at the production team. A good night.